Hello and welcome to 11th Moon Weekly. This week's theme, baseball.
Son of a bitch. Uh-oh.
First 11th Moon movie night.
I know, and I am pumped. What are you watching?
61.
Perfect. Casino movie, counting cards. I love it.
Nope, that was 21.
Oh, okay. This is the one where Jim Carrey goes crazy.
That was the number 23.
The one with all the Spartans in it?
That was 300.
Okay, then this is the one where they're short a few Dalmatians.
That was 101 Dalmatians. No. This is a baseball movie.
Oh, like Rookie of the Year.
No.
The one with the monkey.
No.
The baseball scene from Hook?
No, it's a realistic baseball movie.
Now, doctors say we never recover after watching a realistic sports movie, but I'm going to try to push on for the sake of this review. Now, I watched 61 at the request of Craig. It's one of his personal favorite sports movies. I have no favorite sports movies, especially realistic ones. Not my sort of thing. So going into this, I had a lot of apprehensions. First of all, it's a realistic sports movie about baseball. I can barely watch baseball in real life, let alone a whole movie about it. Plus, I heard that it really didn't even cover a lot of the sport. It was more about the interaction between players and dealing with the fans and the pressure of hitting 61 home runs in a season. So what? They're playing baseball for a living. Personally, I would love to do that. I don't even like the game, but if I was getting paid to play a professional sport for a living, I wouldn't have that much pressure on me. At least I don't think I would. To be honest, when the movie started off, I was very apprehensive. As I said, I'm not a big sports movie fan, but it immediately caught my interest, mainly because of Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle was an interesting person. I mean, really, he was a drunk, but he was a fun one. I mean, seriously, just listening to this guy's conversations, I was like, I could hang out with this guy. And not only that, the Roger Maris character, he was as bland could be. And the movie called him out on it.
Oh, doctor! 50 home runs, and he still has 29 games to break Ruth's record. You know, I think this may be the real news flash of the day, gang. Roger Maris is actually smiling.
Matter of fact, that was a running joke. So right off the bat, I'm like, hey, they're doing it right. Plus, the other thing is, as I was watching it, I noticed myself getting kind of sucked in. I mean, the first half of the movie, I was utterly fascinated. What was interesting is it didn't focus on the baseball. It focused on the people. And that really drew me in. Normally in realistic movies, it's all depressing and sad. But this one had kind of a lighter tone to it. Also, you think that during this race, these two titans of baseball would be at each other's throats. But in reality, they were good friends. Matter of fact, they lived together. I just thought it was kind of an interesting dynamic. I mean, you think about it, these guys should hate each other. They're their rivals. But in reality, the biggest rival of all was the city and the fans. I mean, seriously, they love one and hate the other, or hate the other and love the one. It's an interesting villain to think that you as the fan are the bad guy. It kept me interested anyway. Billy Crystal directed this movie, and he put together a fantastic cast. I mean, seriously, there are a lot of big-name actors in this one. But my personal favorite? Shooter McGavin. I love Shooter McGavin. So Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris both faced different challenges along the way. Mickey Mantle's were mainly physical based. He was an alcoholic, but also his body was kind of shutting down on him. I mean, he had been playing baseball for so many years that he had no cartilage left in his knees, his arm was damaged. I mean, like the whole thing, he was just falling apart at the seams. The worst of all being, though, he had this infection on his hip that you could literally see his bone. I mean, that is incredible that the man played baseball when literally you could see his bone. Now, Roger Maris faced something a little bit different. His wasn't physical issues, it was all mental. The pressure to hit 61 and just the fans hating him so much literally was causing him to lose his hair. He got all these rashes and welts growing all over his body. I mean, he was falling apart just due to the stress alone. This movie, it was actually fascinating to really watch. I mean, it both played at the physical and mental stresses of playing a game like baseball. It gave me a whole new appreciation for these guys, actually. My biggest problem with this movie came at the very end. I mean, if you already know baseball, you know how this movie's going to end, and you understand why it's called 61 with the asterisks. But when Mark McGwire comes on with Sammy Sosa, and they're basically just kind of dancing on the graves of these two players who fought so hard to get where they got, it's just kind of insulting. The true crime here is that Roger Maris never actually lived long enough to find out that he had really broken the home run record. And that's kind of a sad thing for me. I don't like it when movies make me sad. I go to the movies for fun and enjoyment, and I just kind of felt bad at the end. But don't get me wrong, that doesn't make this necessarily a bad film, it's just part of my personal preference. Now, if you're a baseball fan, you've probably already seen this movie. If you're a baseball fan and have not seen it, you need to. Seriously, this is actually pretty good. For somebody like me who only watches occasionally, I still enjoyed it. And not only that, I don't like realistic sports movies. And this one not only held my interest, but made me engaged. I can really recommend this one. I'm going to give it 3 Breens out of 5. You're probably asking yourself, if I like the movie so much, why am I still blind? Well, that's because it's still a realistic sports movie. And I can only watch one of those a year at most. So I've kind of reached my quota. The only way to get my sight back is to watch something even more awesome. Like, I don't know, maybe if I could watch that movie again, but tweak a few things and make it more 80s.
Come on, Rock. You gotta hit the ball.
Sounds risky, but I'll try it.
And even though Brian just destroyed one of the most emotional scenes from one of my favorite movies of all time, I'm still happy. Why is that? We are doing baseball, and I get to talk about my baseball games, and it makes me so happy. All right, now how I'm going to do this, I'm going to talk you through my evolution of baseball gaming. Now, what I did is when I started off playing baseball games, it was Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball for the Super Nintendo. This game was my baseball gaming childhood. There were so many things great about it, and it was the best for its time. Now, really, I can only give you 2 things that were wrong about it. One was the MLB Player Association didn't lend any of the names to the game. The only name on there that was an actual player was Ken Griffey Jr., being that he was the title character. But the fun thing they did is they actually invented new names that were really fun. There was the Bambino, who played for the Yankees, and the entire Kansas City Royals team was filled with ex-presidents. So it's kind of fun. And the second thing that was really bad about it is what I call the Mario Kart effect. It's when somebody's in the lead, it constantly tries to make sure the end people get back up to the front. The way you'd always get blue shells or get these awesome items. That's what this thing does. I purposely, since this game has been out on emulator, have cheated my way to constantly hitting home runs and all this other stuff. And then I play it normally. You can't do anything. It's really tough, so no matter what, the game is pretty close. I didn't recognize that as a child, that whenever I got ahead, no matter what, they caught back up. I just thought I wasn't good enough yet, so I kept playing. But now that I see that, that's the only thing else that's wrong with it. Everything else is beautiful. It is a kid's game in a sense. When you try and tag somebody out by actually tagging them, you knock them to the ground. It's not a slugfest or any of the like blitz type titles for MLB, where you're punching people with fireballs and other things like that, but it's really good. It's enough goofiness where, you know, if you run into a wall, you hit and fall back down, to be a kid's title, but it still was serious enough to where you could play it and enjoy it for a baseball game. As a kid, this would have easily gotten a 5 out of 5 from me. But looking back at it now, it's still a solid 4.5. Fast forward a few years. Now, when baseball games started picking back up and actually became legitimate again was not until the Xbox 360 with the MLB 2K series. The first few of these games were amazing for what they were. There was a lot of flaws with them, and I don't really want to go into all of that, but there really wasn't an alternative for somebody like me who only had an Xbox. The 2K series is famous for its $1 Million Perfect Game competition. First person to throw a perfect game with a pitcher would win $1 million. But the game was so flawed that I didn't even care by this point when they introduced it. It was something just trying to hook people in. The reason why I didn't care was because of MLB The Show. This is the game I'm reviewing this week. This game is so perfect. It is made for the baseball purists. Everything they did, they took so much time in doing it. It is amazing. They talked about to do one stadium would take them 5 months to get it to be perfect, to be completely aligned with how that stadium really is in real life. That's dedication, and I love it because everything they do, that is a big part of baseball, is the stadiums and how people move and how they throw the ball and how they hold the bat and how they actually swing and their leg movement string, everything. Everything is so perfect, and it's a realistic game. It's not any of the ones with the fireball coming out anymore, or people jump kicking, or people hitting 700-foot home runs. No, this thing is so realistic, and for a baseball purist, it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. One way to actually go through and figure out how much detail they went into it is if you create a player yourself. You get to pick your batting stance, if you're a pitcher, how you throw, and all of that. You get to go through, and they have one for almost every player on the MLB rosters, a different swing, because everybody's swing, everybody's pitching delivery is different. And you get to look through all of them and see and go, dude, that is totally how he moves, or that is so how he swings. Everything was great on that end, and it really shows how much dedication they put into the motion capture of all the different players and how they move and everything. One of the other great things about this game is the plethora of game modes that you have. Of course, you have the standard team versus team, just the exhibition game. And now with almost any sports game, you have the season mode, where you get to actually go through and play through a full season. They also have the franchise mode, where you get to go through and play as a single team through many years, going through and making trades, changing salaries, offering contracts, and releasing other players. I mean, I think you can even charge admission and hot dog prices. You can get really in depth with it to try and see if you can make money for your franchise, so you can dole out more money for these big name players to make you win the World Series. They also have one of the standard game modes that most baseball games have nowadays, which is the Home Run Derby. If you don't know what the Home Run Derby is, it's where from 2 to 8 batters take it into a challenge of hitting as many home runs as they can within a certain amount of swings. One of the other really cool game modes that they have now is called Challenge of the Week, where it pits a pitcher and a batter against each other, and it's always based on current matchups of the current MLB season. So a really good pitcher and a really good batter they're going to meet this week, they have that together. So you can go through as the batter and take as many swings as you can to try and get as many hits as you can and in many ways as possible. It's a leaderboard, and the people that are on the top of the leaderboard are crazy good at it, but it's still just a really cool in-depth thing where it's taking people that are actually facing each other in real life this week and letting you play it out. And the second best game mode for MLB The Show 12 is called Diamond Dynasty. Now this one's a little bit more complex. What it does is you get a bunch of players and you form your own team. Now I of course went through and made the Gotham Dark Knights. One of the really cool things is you get to completely re-edit everything. Jersey colors, logo, everything. As you can see here, I really went through and tried to make a very good Dark Knight logo for my team. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go extremely into detail about this mode, but you can edit players' names, you can go through and add to their stats by purchasing points that you have earned through playing. You can play online against other people with your team, or you can take on the computer team as one of the standard MLB teams. And you go through, and when you beat them, you can take their stadium and use that as your home stadium from there on out. There's just so many really cool things about this. And now my personal favorite game mode for this game is called Road to the Show. What you do is you create a player and you put him as a certain position. You can either add yourself to a team or get drafted. When you do that, you go through and you start playing in the minor league system. You start off as a starter, and you have to earn points by doing well on the field, by either hitting or playing the field well, anything like that. You can earn yourself points, and you add that to your attributes, and then as your stats grow and your points grow, you get promoted throughout the system. So now from a AA starter, you will go to a AAA bench player, and then to a AAA role player, and then to a AAA starter, and hopefully being called up to the show, the major leagues. This mode is so much fun. It's what I played most of the time anyway. I went through and created myself as a shortstop for the Detroit Tigers, and I pitted myself against the best pitchers in baseball. Now, one thing that's kind of sad for me is I've never actually gone through the system and made it to the Detroit Tigers team. I always stay in their minor leagues and then they sell me off for a commodity that they need now. But that's just to be expected because the Tigers are the best and they don't need me right now. So it's kind of tough. But I know a lot of other players have gone through and made it to the team that they wanted to play for. I truly have a very limited number of complaints about this game. One of them is during the road to the show, you take control of your guy while he's on base. You can lead off, you can steal, but if you get thrown out too many times while stealing, they'll take away your green light. And when you do that, if you try and steal again, they bench you for like 3 weeks. Now, what happens at that point is when I get my green light taken away, I'll put my controller down while I'm actually on base. But the thing is so sensitive that it will make you steal if you hit it too hard on the ground. And then you get benched and you're like, sweet, now I've got another 3 weeks to do and I can't get called back up to the major leagues. So that's more of my fault, but it's still something that's very annoying. I feel like they should have made it where it was a little bit more of a movement for it to count. Instead of it being so easy to go, oh no, dang it, I didn't mean to do that! The controls for this game are very fluid, and there's a setup for every level of player. There's what I would call a one-button mode, to where it's extremely stripped down and basic. That's for pretty much anybody just jumping into a baseball game. Then there's the normal mode where the batting's a little bit more difficult, and then there's the more advanced mode, and they even introduced an even more advanced mode in this one. That's the one I try and play in, but I'm not even there yet, and I've been playing this game for who knows how long. Matt Vasgersian and Dave Campbell lent their voices to this game. They've been doing this for a couple years now, so now they've kind of built up this great sound library of them calling games. Things from the first one are imported into the next one, and then into the next one, and then into the next one. So now you've got this plethora of things that they can go about saying for the different actions that happen on field. It's actually really immersive. Every situation seems like they have recorded this somehow. They went, well, you know what, this is going to happen one time, and we're going to end up making a specific call for this. It really helps out, really helps you get into the game feeling like I'm actually watching a broadcast right now. This game isn't built for everybody. If you're a non-baseball fan or you're a novice gamer, I don't really recommend getting into this game. If you love ripping through games at fast speeds, this isn't for you. Like this guy.
Sonic, he can really move. Sonic!
Overall, this game is great. If you're a baseball purist or you're pretty good at games and you don't mind the slow action of this, this is an amazing game. This really captures the game of baseball into video game form. There's no other rating I could give this as a baseball purist myself besides 5 out of 5.
Thank you for watching this week's 11th Moon Weekly. Be sure to subscribe, like us both here and on Facebook, leave a comment down below, follow us on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next week. Sonic, you can really move. Blue streak speeds by. Sonic the Hedgehog, too fast for the naked eye. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. Look out when he comes through. Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't doubt what he can do. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive. Suck it, Robotnik.